I told you.
Sent to jail,
I told you.
Kicked out as minister.
I'm saying the cover-up is trying to get me to remove blog posts.
Remove the blog posts because they're slanderous.
They're not. They're totally truthful.
But they're not true.
You just said the guy was convicted. I said the same thing. Everything that's in my blog post tells the truth that you can read in newspapers. There's nothing slightly slanderous or libelous, and I'm not removing them.
But you say that in your hands. You have a sign about pedophilia and rape, which did not occur in Canada.
I never said it did. Does it say in Canada?
But you're standing in front of a church in Canada.
Right. Well, guess what?
Guess what? Anyone's going to think that's what you mean. And if you don't understand
No. I'm sorry. I'm talking about Unitarian Universalists.
That's what slander is.
No, it's not slanderous at all. If you think it's slanderous, if you're so sure it's slanderous, you go hire a lawyer and accuse me of slander. We'll go to court and we'll discuss it.
But you don't have any money. There's no point in...
I don't need money. I can represent my... Oh, you want money?
I don't want your money. I want you to be responsible.
No, I want...
Stop misleading people.
I'm not misleading anyone.
Something's going on here that is not going on here, and you don't
There's lots of things going on here. Not this in particular that I know of, but other stuff is going on here.
It's untoward.
There's nothing untoward. You're wrong about that, John.
So it's not fair. You're not.
It's not fair. I'm being totally fair, my friend.
To be fair, but when you look at your case.
No, I think you're not. You're not looking. No, I think it's your case that breaks down, not mine. In fact, that's why. No. The reason I haven't been charged with blasphemous libel is because it was made on a false basis. The claim that I was making unfounded and vicious allegations is totally false, and I showed that to Stikeman Elliott, and their other accusations are just as false.
But you're standing in front of a church with the sign that says pedophilia and rape when there's not even an accusation that happened here. You're misleading.
No, I'm not.
Everyone.
No, I'm not. This is entirely truthful.
It's not fair.
It's not fair. Would you like me to put American Unitarian Universalists? Would that make you feel better? Would that make you? Because that's what I had. I actually. Hang on. I had
not even appealing to blasphemy laws. If you read the letter, they use the word to try to reach into your mentality about
my mentality,
churches and your fascination.
No. I'm sorry. I think you should read the letter. It clearly accuses me.
It clearly accuses me elsewhere decades ago.
No. I'm protesting about what happened in June of 2012.
You're maligning someone. A group of innocent people in Montreal.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about the Unitarian Universalist religious community in general. And my friend...
I'm sorry, you put your signs in front of one
in
Montreal.
No, you're not innocent.
This is not fair.
The Unitarian Church here locally...
Be not fair? Mr. Campaigner for Justice, but your campaign isn't fair.
You're quite mistaken, John. But I'll tell you what, if you would like to discuss this with other leading members of church in a controlled environment with a mediator or something, we can do that. In fact, I've always been open to that. I've even told you...
What mediator would you trust? You don't believe anything anyone has ever said. You've gone to several bodies with your complaints. They've all said there is no basis for a complaint, but then you don't believe those bodies. The very body that kicked this rapist out as a minister, you applied to, and you were told, no, you are not a victim of abuse, Mr. Edgar. So what mediator would you ever accept? What mediator would you say that if the mediator says there's no problem, I will leave these innocent people alone? Who is that mediator?
What?
Who is that mediator?
Let's see now. First of all, I don't think anyone's going to say you're innocent who checks the facts. I think, I'm not sure, but I think there's I think in Montreal, there's an organization that specializes in mediating disputes. Oh, the other thing you could do, you could talk to hang on.
Don't be telling me what to do.
No.
You want to go to a mediator.
You're asking me.
Do you want to go to a mediator?
I'm ready to go to a good mediator.
Yeah, and then we would both have to do things, right? It wouldn't be like me doing everything and you sitting around. We would both have to do things. Would you agree?
It depends. Well, maybe we should go to an arbitrator in that case. An arbitrator will pick one side or the other. But in any case, there are people. There's real. I'll tell you what. You know what? How about UU Safety Net? UU Safety Net are people who are concerned about Unitarian Universalist clergy misconduct issues.
Are they in Montreal?
No, they're in Nashville, Tennessee.
Well, that's
but
not too handy. We need someone in
hang on.
You have to pick someone in Montreal.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. I can't.
UU Safety Net. UU Safety Net. UU Safety Net has
that.
no.
Will you go to a mediator in Montreal? Someone who
I've already said I would.
Okay. And will you agree that resulting from that, you will give up your picketing campaign as a result of what the mediator comes out with? If the mediator says,
I have a right, I have a constitutionally guaranteed right to protest. So I'm not going to give up my constitutional...
So there's no incentive for me to go to mediation.
No,
because no matter what is said, you will just continue.
No, you're mistaken. You're mistaken
picketing.
Because what could happen is if you pull your head out of your ass and realize, oh, gee, we actually have made some mistakes, because a mediator shows you where you've made mistakes, then
So we go to a mediator, and if you're right, then that's good. But if you're wrong, well, then it doesn't count.
No, because
I understand.
if you can clearly show that I am wrong, because right now you haven't, right?
It's the mediator.
Well, if a mediator can show me that I'm wrong, clearly wrong about something, well, then I'll say, yes, you're right, and I'm wrong about that.
I wonder if you ever see where you're wrong. Have you ever admitted being wrong?
Have you ever admitted being wrong about anything about this? About this? No, I don't think so.
These are ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's it.
I just told you that this guy Mitchell, we agree on the facts.
And those facts,
it has nothing to do with me, but we do
those
agree on those
facts are in my blog post. Not all of them, because I wasn't aware of all the details at the time I wrote the blog post. But the basic, what is in the blog post is truthful. There's nothing false in the blog post.
I'm capable of admitting evidence when I see it.
Well, then maybe you should. Here's some evidence.
But I haven't seen you ever admit anything.
Here's some evidence for you to admit. Well, so far you haven't pointed out anything I've done that's wrong.
Yes, I have.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't. Here, let's talk about
signs that imply
Unitarian perversion of justice
are going on at this church, which do not apply to this church.
You're wrong.
There has been no problem.
You don't censor and suppress critics.
Slandering is different than suppressing criticism.
My friend,
This is slander.
No, forget about this sign. This sign existed before this sign.
All of these signs are yours. You never started.
Are you telling me that this church, the Unitarian Church of Montreal, has never tried to censor me, has never tried to suppress me?
Only when you say outrageous, slanderous things.
Yeah, right. Only when I tell the truth.
All kinds of people express
you know what? You just hang on.
All kinds of things
hang on a second. Hang on. You just admitted that this picket sign is true because you said, "Oh, only." So you admit that you do censor and suppress me. You just pretend that the only reason you do so.
Outrageously unfair, slanderous things. That is not tolerated in a free society. I'm sorry.
Well, then hire a lawyer and we'll go to court about it. I'm open to that too, my friend. If you're so sure I'm slandering, hire Maitre Coulombe to, sue me for slander. I mean, make the damages $1, a loonie, and we'll see what comes of it. So we had a wonderful conversation with John Inder this morning, and I'm glad we got that all recorded, as does he. This guy's a total idiot. He's in total denial. I mean, the picket sign clearly says Unitarian Universalists misuse blasphemy law to cover up and deny pedophilia and rape. So I'm clearly talking about the misuse of blasphemy law by the Unitarian Universalist Association. I'm not talking about something that the Unitarian Church of Montreal is doing itself. This is about broader, more international Unitarian Universalist injustices and abuses. And I have every right to protest international abuses here in front of the Unitarian Church of Montreal. John is like so, the double standards he exercises are just incredible. Unitarian Universalists regularly protest against issues that occur in other places, locally. In other words, for instance, a recent example would be a lot of Unitarian Universalists protested against what's happening in Ferguson, Missouri. But they didn't do it in Ferguson, Missouri. I mean, yeah, sure, some did, but Unitarian Universalists protested in many other American cities about what's happening in Ferguson. So I don't see why I can't protest what Boston Unitarian Universalists are doing up here in Montreal in front of the Unitarian Church of Montreal. I think it's a perfectly reasonable thing for me to do. If John Inder would like to pay my transportation expenses to go down and protest in front of the headquarters of the Unitarian Universalist Association of Boston, well, I might take my picket signs down there. But it is entirely within my rights and perfectly legal, and I believe morally and ethically sound, for me to protest against the cover-up and denial of Unitarian Universalist clergy misconduct that happens in the United States. But the other thing is that John...
How are you?
Oh, very good.
It's a warmer day.
It's not too bad today.
Yeah, it's not.
Anyway, I just think about all the corpse cold Unitarianism when I'm doing this. Yeah. Just like, so, just got a passerby talking about how cold it is. It isn't that cold, actually. It's actually not bad for a January day, but I couldn't resist an old corpse cold Unitarianism joke, referring, of course, to Ralph Waldo Emerson's divinity school address, in which he spoke about the corpse cold Unitarianism of his time. Plenty of corpse cold Unitarianism in the 21st century, including John Inder, who's in total denial of any wrongdoing on the part of the Unitarian Church of Montreal. I mean, he's accusing me of slander and so on. Well, excuse me, I seem to recall telling John Inder about how Reverend Ray Drennan was falsely labeling an interreligious event that I'd organized as a cult. I think I made it clear to John Inder that this was a slanderous attack on my religious activity. I think I told John Inder